Did I freak you out? I was lip reading things. It is Monday, January 11th, and this is In Case You Missed American History, brought to you by Homer Simpson. Ringing a bell with a sign that says the end is near. I hope that you are doing well, and I hope that those around you are doing well, because if you're watching this, that means you probably didn't make it to class today, and that's okay. I'm going to run you through everything that we did today. I'm going to hit you up with a boatload of reminders to start things off today because, as Homer says, the end is near. We are done with the semester quarter thing at the end of this week, and I want to make sure that you guys all end up in the best spot that you humanly possibly can. So, your reminders. Any late work that you owe is due by Friday at midnight. Now, listen. Infinite Campus is up to date except for Seeking Empire, which was due on Friday. Okay? You should know if you turned in Seeking Empire or not. All right? I will be grading those this afternoon and putting them in. Now listen, I've been emailing parents. Some of your parents are like, but he or she says she has everything done. If I haven't got it, I haven't graded it. So please go in and make sure that you have hit turn in or submit or whatever the little button says on everything that you think you have done for me. Okay? So please kind of take that in mind as we go. I can only grade the things I have as Kate's chatting me. Okay? Now, that late work is due by Friday at midnight. Please talk to me if you need a little bit longer. I can maybe stretch it to the weekend, but I want to get things taken care of by Friday. We also have a test on Friday on these last two units on Chapter 4 and Chapter 5. You're going to need to take that test on Friday before midnight. You have to take it, okay? It will be very much like the other tests that we have taken so far. It will be open note, open resource, but you need to get it done, okay? And I'm going to give it to you during class on Friday and try to make sure that you have ample time in class to get things going and get things done on it, okay? Last reminder on this, and I know you probably figured this out based on what I've already said, the quarter ends on Friday, okay? That's it for your classes. So please make sure that you are listening to all of your teachers' deadlines for the week. You may have teachers that aren't going to take anything late after Wednesday. You may have teachers who are going to take things Thursday. Please make sure that you're paying attention. You don't want to miss deadlines. You want things to end up as well as they can for you here in the end. Okay. And then last but not least, there's no school on Monday for you guys. I will double check that just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that Monday I have to come to work and work all day, but you guys get to get sleep in. And then on Tuesday, you will start the third semester, which will be your A-Day classes again. Okay. So what we're going to do today is we're going to wrap up the two things that we have left on the 12 things unit, and we're going to start unit 5. Again, as always, if you have any questions about what you owe, if you can't find the link to a test or a quiz or something, all you got to do is reach out and ask. Guys, I want to help you. I want to be here for you. I want you to pass the class, but I can't do the work for you. Okay? Now, let's get rolling on the things we need to talk about. Okay, these last two in this unit are going to be really easy. This first one I mentioned more because I think, seems weird by today's standards more than anything else. So, get my wallet. Ooh, big money today. I got a $5 bill. Abraham Lincoln. Okay, so you look at this. How do you know how much it's worth? And obviously, you're going to look at the numbers and tell me, see if that's worth 5, because it says $5. $5. And I would say, great. But realistically, it's a piece of paper. It's a cool piece of paper. It's got some really cool, like, holographic type stuff on it. And it's got these little cool things so they can't be easily counterfeited and things. But realistically, the reason that's worth $5 is because you have been told by the government that it is a important piece of paper and it is valued at $5 American. So it's the belief in the American monetary system that tells you how much a bill or a coin is worth. However, it hasn't always been that way. For a lot of the early part of American history, probably like the first 120, 130, 140 years or so, we had something called the gold standard, which meant that for every $5 bill the government printed, they had $5 worth of gold. And they kept all of that at a place called Fort Knox. And so what that meant is you used to know that your money was backed up by an actual physical thing that had value. That if something happened to all of our paper money, we would still have all of these gold bars that were the foundation of our American economy. We still have gold bars. We still have, whatever, but we don't have the right amount of gold bars versus the right amount of paper money. Now, back in the day when they had $1 of paper money and $1 of gold, we called that the gold standard. We backed our money up with the gold standard. You actually used to be able to trade in some money for gold. Now, I don't know how much you would need to have to get a block of gold. I suppose that would depend on the day, the value of gold, the year, things like that. But the gold standard means that our money was once backed up by gold, whereas now it's backed up by a belief that it has value, okay? Last thing in this unit is an important election, and the reason it's important is it's going to shape the direction the country takes over the next chunk of years and kind of still has a little bit of an impact on us today. In 1896, there's an election just like there is every 4 years, just like there was last fall. And it's a pretty highly contested election between William McKinley, who's pictured over here in this poster. He looks like super, traditional old dude, versus William Jennings Bryan. Now, they were both pretty good public speakers. They were both good community servants. They both had a lot of really good ideas for how to get things done. And they both sat on the fence about some major items too. However, there was one major separator between William McKinley and William Jennings Bryan, and that was the idea of where America should turn its attention next. William Jennings Bryan was known as an isolationist. William Jennings Bryan was an isolationist. That meant he thought that America should stay to itself, that we should be content to be on our own little rock and worry about what was happening here and not get worried about what was happening in the rest of the world. Take care of yourself at home. Okay. William McKinley, on the other hand, was what was called an imperialist. And we're going to talk about this a lot in the next unit. An imperialist believes that the best thing that a country can do is expand its borders and also expand its influence around the world. So people like McKinley thought we should be involved in other countries' business. He thought we should try to expand our territory by buying or taking over or winning things in wars. And so the election is highly contested. And in the end, McKinley wins. The idea of being an imperialist wins. And that kind of sets the direction for America for the foreseeable future, in that we believe that we should be a player on the world stage. We believe that we should be involved in what is going on in the world. And that if that means that we're going to expand our territory, if we're going to add an island here or some territory there, that's what we need to do. Okay? Now, that's everything for Chapter 4. Now, we are going to combo Chapter 4 with Chapter 5, so I do want to get quickly started on Chapter 5 today. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the title slide and one slide. Okay, so I have multiple people chatting me. Okay, Chapter 5 in American history is called Imperialism. It is all about the United States expanding its borders and taking over more territory. Now, if you look at that picture, it says 1898, so that tells you that this is when we're going to start to expand. McKinley's just been elected. He was been president for 2 years, and now we're really going to look to spread our wings. But if you look at that picture a little more closely than maybe your initial look, I'm sure a lot of you guys probably looked at that quickly and thought, oh, it's an eagle. Symbol of America is an eagle, and it's an eagle. But if you look more closely at the head of that bird, you will notice that is not an eagle. It's a vulture. And the reason, why do you think that the person made it a vulture that drew it? I think the main reason that they chose to be a vulture is because by 1898, most of the good territories were taken. Vultures tend to eat roadkill and sick animals, things that can't defend themselves. And we are kind of at a point in our history as an imperialistic expansion country that the only way that we're going to be able to take territory is if we find it or if we're able to pick off something that is weak. And so the artist that drew this at this time in history was very much comparing America's ability to expand to that of a vulture looking to eat. Okay. And so obviously that's probably not saying the best stuff about us. But by the end of the unit, I think we would be more willing to draw us as an eagle. Okay. At the beginning, we're definitely a vulture. Now, last slide for today. The early American thinking was that idea of isolationism, that we needed to stay to ourselves. And if you think about it, there are some positives to that. If you stay to yourself, you stay out of other people's trouble. You don't get pulled into other people's drama. Think about it. Friends equals drama. You know that. It's kind of the same thing when it comes to a country. The more a country expands out, takes over territory, makes themselves allies, the more drama and problems they can be pulled into. But we decide to stay isolated except for trade. Now, if you think about it, it's obvious. We don't have everything that we need here. And so we're going to have to go out and trade to get those things that we need. Now, one of the other major reasons that we decided to stay isolated is that we didn't trust European countries. We had had bad luck with them before. Obviously, we had numerous run-ins with the British, not just being their colony, but the War of 1812 that I think you guys talked about last year. We had some problems with France. During our Civil War, they took over Mexico. We didn't like them invading our neighbor and taking over our neighbor. And in America, we actually have this rule called the Monroe Doctrine, where it states that European nations aren't allowed to take any more land in the Western Hemisphere, or else. Now, we never really said what or else was, but that was a way to further keep us isolated, to keep the big world powers of the time out of our chunk of the world so that we could kind of stay to ourselves. Now, what we're going to look at in this last 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, is we're going to look at America expanding. We're going to look at how we broaden our country's boundaries, and we're going to do that through finding something, taking something, buying something, and winning a war. All right. And those are going to be the last things that we're going to look at until, I guess, the fourth quarter. So please make sure you're keeping up on your stuff. You guys that are behind, get caught up. If you need an email from me telling you exactly what you need to do, please, you just have to let me know. Okay. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.